The Alva County Commission of the County of Putnam is now sitting in regular session to transact all business required of it by law or any other business may come before it at this time. And now the pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all.
Evening, Brian. What do you have for us?
You might just have your edit registers for your initials so we can pay the bills. Other than that, have a pretty easy night for you. I'd just like to remind everybody that we'll be starting early voting tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, and go till 4. On Thursdays from 8 until 7, and on the 2 Saturdays, 9 to 5. It'll end December the 5th, I believe it is.
No,
Is that Saturday?
November 5th.
Or excuse me, November 5th, yeah, November 5th, that Saturday. And we'll be having early voting here at the in the courtroom, as well as over at Valley Park Conference Center. Other than that, absentee ballot applications in 6 days prior to the election, I believe it is. If they need an absentee ballot, early voting, like I say, will be here. And then election day will be November the 8th, and that will be 6:30 till 7:30 voting times. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the edit registries as presented.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, down to our general business. We have our prior meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes as presented.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We didn't have any rainy success, Mr. Cabana. Okay. Did have personnel orders.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve the personnel and payroll orders as presented.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have our bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anything to report at this time for a commissioner report?
No, sir, I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. I do not either. So moving along, at this time, is there anyone that would like to make public comment regarding something that is not on the agenda? Mr. Pritt?
I've provided the commission some settlement documents with regard to the ongoing opiate litigation. This is essentially a continuation of what was ratified by the board previously. They're merely settlement participation forms. I would recommend that we sign them so that we can participate in the settlement.
Larry, do you have any comments?
No.
Okay. All these pages are signed on the front by the president?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So no motion necessary. This is just a continuation. You're
No
just
motion
presenting the
necessary,
facts.
sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I will sign these and get them to Larry, and then he can distribute to them at a later date. Is that okay? Or
Yes, sir.
you want to take them with you?
That's fine, whatever's easier for the commission.
Okay.
It has to be in, I believe, by November 4th. So
Okay.
as long as I get them by then, that'd be fine with me.
Larry won't let me leave without signing them this evening.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for the
Mr. Pritt.
commission's time. Have a good evening.
Anyone else for a public comment on anything not on the agenda? All right. Larry, we have our estate settlements and fiduciary orders.
Yes, just in a motion for the president to sign off on the estate settlements and fiduciary orders.
All right, I'll make a motion for the commission president to sign off on the estates and fiduciary orders as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll come back to budget revisions. We do have a couple of, we'll come back to our board appointments and interviews as well. So we'll go down to our regular agenda items. We do have a couple of proclamations. I think they're in the red folders too. Melissa, the red folder. The proclamations. So the first proclamation is something that we do every year to recognize Veterans Day. Jeremy, what's the time of the event or?
I haven't been notified yet.
Okay.
Should be the Sunday prior to, I don't know. We'll have to
Okay.
put out a couple. I haven't been notified of time.
But Putnam County always does a good job of recognizing our veterans and Veterans Day. So it looks like that'll be on Sunday, November 6th here at the courthouse. Commissioner Ellis will read that proclamation. Or Larry's going to?
Mr. Fry.
Okay, excellent.
All right. Proclamation, whereas the Veterans Day Appreciation Day has been established in Putnam County as a day to honor the American patriots who who answer the call of duty, preserving our freedoms and often making the ultimate sacrifice. And whereas Putnam County will celebrate this day as an opportunity for all of us to recognize the sacrifices made by all of those American veterans who served our country in its defense of world peace. And whereas the unwavering commitment of our Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard have preserved our freedoms and saved millions around the world from tyranny. And whereas we continue to draw inspiration from the heroism and dedication of those who currently serve and sacrifice for the cause of liberty and justice. And whereas we encourage all citizens to unite as a grateful nation to demonstrate their support of veterans on November the 11th, 2022. Be it therefore resolved that we, the Putnam County Commission, thank all men and women who have stood watch over America in the armed forces of the United States of America, and we hereby name the week of November the 6th, 2022 as Veterans Appreciation Week in Putnam County.
Thank you, Larry. Since this will be our last meeting before Veterans Day, I would ask that if there's any veterans in the audience, if you would please stand. All right, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for your service. All right, we also have another proclamation this evening. Our Rotary Club, I believe, is here to discuss that somewhere.
There was somebody.
Yeah, no, go ahead. You guys go up there so we can.
Over here?
Yeah.
Probably.
All right. So World Polio Day every year is October 24th, and the Rotary, that has been their signature project for years and years and years. And as of now, we have eradicated polio across the world in all but 2 countries, and that's Afghanistan and Pakistan, and we are well on our way to eradicating polio throughout the world.
Excellent. And
Can I tell you one more thing?
yes,
Thank you. So tomorrow, Husson's Pizza is doing a fundraiser with us, and if you order from Husson's Pizza tomorrow and say polio or put it on your card, they will give us 25% of all of their sales tomorrow, and that is every Husson's. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be in Putnam County. Any Husson's anywhere. And on Friday, Panera Bread has partnered with us, and we have a flyer that we will put out, and you can copy and take it in or show it on your phone, and they will also donate that day to us.
thank you. I think Mr. Fry, or you're going to read the.
I will read it. It's a proclamation, Putnam County, West Virginia. Whereas Rotary is a global network of neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers who unite and take action to create lasting change in communities across the globe. And whereas the Rotary motto, service above self, inspires members to provide humanitarian service, follow high ethical standards, and promote goodwill and peace in the world. And whereas Rotary in 1985 launched Polio Plus, and in 1988 helped establish the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which today includes the World Health Organization, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and the Bill and Melinda? Thanks.
Linda, yes.
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance to immunize children of the world against polio. And whereas polio cases have dropped by 99.9% since 1988, and the world stands on the threshold of eradicating the disease. And whereas to date, Rotary has contributed more than $2.4 billion and countless volunteer hours to protect nearly 3 billion children in 122 countries. And whereas Rotary, in working to raise an additional $50 million per year, which will be leveraged for maximum impact by an additional $100 million annually from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and whereas these efforts are providing much-needed operational support, medical staff, laboratory equipment, and educational materials for health workers and parents, and whereas, in addition, Rotary has played a major role in decisions by donor governments to contribute more than $10 billion to the effort, and whereas there are over 1.4 million Rotary members in 46,000 clubs throughout the world that sponsor service projects to address such critical issues as poverty, disease, hunger, illiteracy, and the environment with their local with their local communities and abroad. Therefore, and there are some blanks here, but I'm going to fill it in a little bit. It says, therefore, the Putnam County Commission of Putnam County, West Virginia, does hereby proclaim October the 25th, 2022, World Polio Day in Putnam County, West Virginia, and encourages all citizens to join them in Rotary International in the fight for a polio-free world. And it is dated this 25th day of October, 2022, and signed by the Putnam County Commission.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, folks. Thank you for the Rotary and all the Rotary does for our community. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. This is my problem.
All right. Next on the agenda, I'm going to skip over, we'll come back to the Region 3 mitigation plan. At this time, we'll move to recognition of Putnam County citizens, Mr. Ellis and Mr. Renfro, and their courageous life-saving actions. Sheriff, do you want me to read this to start off?
Yes.
Okay. It should be noted, a law enforcement officer's first objective when arriving on scene is preservation of life. On September 7th, 2022, Putnam County deputies Sergeant John Hedrick, Corporal Brandon Pauley, and Deputy James Chandler responded to an accidental shooting call at the loading dock area of the Big Sandy Furniture Store in Tates Valley. When the deputies arrived on scene, they observed the victim, Jaron Coster, bleeding heavily from his leg after the concealed weapon Mr. Coster was carrying accidentally discharged. Co-worker Aaron Ellis was attempting to apply pressure to the victim's wound in an attempt to stop the bleeding. Deputy Chandler removed a tourniquet from his duty belt and immediately applied it to halt the flow of blood, a life-saving measure that afforded Mr. Coster precious minutes paramedics needed to get Mr. Coster to the closest hospital where the bleeding could be controlled. The treating doctor advises Corporal Pauley that if the tourniquet would not have been applied on scene, Mr. Coster would have bled out from his injury and died. Deputy Chandler successfully negotiated a stressful situation by relying on his training and his undaunting desire to meet that first objective, preservation of life. At this time, we would like to recognize Deputy Chandler for his actions. He is hereby awarded the Award of Merit for his actions.
Every day, these fellows go out, these men and women go out in uniform and to do one thing, and that's to protect and save lives. These individuals went to a scene that was horrific. The victim is here tonight, and thanks to individuals in this room, he is able to tell them thank you to himself. We're not surprised in our department that Mr. Chandler done this. Deputy Chandler is a rising star in our department, and we're very, very proud. And not every day you get an award, but every day he goes out and he does his job. So we really do appreciate him. Thank you very much. Would Mr. Aaron Ellis come forward, please? Mr. Ellis, as you know, applied the first aid to his friend and coworker, and we want to we're presenting you with a life-saving award. Not every day in today's society does somebody jump forward. They help not only somebody in the public, but especially a friend does. And we appreciate that, and I know he does too. So, thank you very much for your service.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Would you like to say anything?
I'm not really big on speeches or anything. I just, everybody who's asked me about what happened, I just provide them their information of, I'm just glad I was able to respond quickly and able to do it correctly. And I'm just as amazed that I was able to do that and just as surprised I was able to do that than he probably is surprised of shooting himself in the leg.
Yeah.
So, again, I mean, this is over the top for me. I'm not one to accept clout or anything. You know, he's here and he's still breathing. It's the only thing that matters.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Is Mr. Renfro here? Mr. Renfro here?
Yes. Michael.
We want to recognize you, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Renfro actually placed the initial call to 911 and provided the first aid kit to be used to help stop the bleeding or control the bleeding until help arrived. So.
We really thank you for your efforts. Thank you very much.
And the shooting victim, Mr. Coster, Jaron Coster, he's also here. We'd like to recognize him as well.
Mr. Coster, would you like to say something? I'll bring it back to you.
Just
all right.
glad everyone was recognized, was there, and able to keep me here for my babies. Just taking care of me until the ambulance was able to get there. It's just not a whole lot of good in this world anymore. It's good to see it when you do see it.
We're glad you're here with us.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
It's not every day that we get to recognize individuals in our department, and today, thanks to the commission, we have that day. And I'm trying to get better and better at it to recognize the deputies and our civilian employees also that work with me. The department is only as good as these people. I'm nothing more than a figurehead, and they do all the work. And I really appreciate that, and I need to get better at recognizing them. One of those things is promotions. Promotions in law enforcement are few and far between, and it's more than a pay raise. It's a step up in responsibility. We have two individuals here tonight that have shown both those things, the leadership and the responsibility, and we want to promote them tonight and recognize them for the things that they do for you, the people of Putnam County. Deputy Chris. Deputy Chris is getting promoted to the rank of corporal. We appreciate his efforts. He's really good with the public. He's actually a picture-perfect deputy, tall, slim, unlike your sheriff. But we want to recognize him and thank you for your efforts and congratulations, Corporal.
Thanks, sir.
Take care. Our next individual is Corporal Greg Scraggs. Would you come forward, please? I've known Greg for several years now, and many years ago, him and his dad and I worked together, and I've been fortunate enough to know him growing up through his career, and Greg's always been one of those guys that you could turn to, and he's mission-oriented. You could ask him to do anything, and he goes right out there and does it, and we appreciate that. He's earned this leadership role, and as anybody, especially during this time of veterans, the number one rank in any organization, paramilitary or military, is the sergeant. The sergeant is out there with his men and his women, and he's the one that is actually training and leading. Once you surpass that sergeant rank, responsibility goes up, but your interactions and your training of your men, it depletes actually. So the sergeant, and I know this because I was one, and it's the most important rank of any organization, and should never be taken lightly. And I know that now Sergeant Scraggs will do a great job, and we're very proud of him, and congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
We got one more officer to recognize here before I read that. One of the things when I became the sheriff, I wanted to reinstitute the K-9 program. And we got this really, really, really good looking, the best looking deputy we have, actually walks on four legs. So would you bring old Drug Buster up here for us, please? This is Buster. Buster is the newest member of the Putnam County Sheriff's Department. And he is trained in narcotics only, and he's quite the ham. He's been to every school in the county at this point, and he will continue to go around. And if anybody has any drugs on him right now, I would suggest you leave. But Buster is another tool and another member of our department. This is his partner right here, and his partner and him work side by side. They live together, and they will until either one of them decide not to do this job together. It's a great investment, and Buster has really, really been a hit to the public. So we welcome Buster, and we look for a long career. This is Buster's badge. He currently outranks his partner because we promoted him to corporal right away. So, Buster, thank you for coming with us. Thank you. And last but not least, we had two detectives here earlier, and they got called away to the hospital on an injured infant. But for some time now, we wanted to recognize two of our detectives, Detective Julie Laporte and the detective that we call Ryan Childers, better known to Chaka as the rest of us. And I really don't know why we call him Chaka. He's a Yankee and he kind of talks funny, but other than that, that's why we do it. But on December 29, 2020, in Polka, West Virginia, a complaint was made to Putnam County Sheriff's Department for a production of child pornography. Matthew Hagee, 49, of Memphis, Tennessee, traveled to Polka during the Christmas break, acting as a caregiver to a grandfather to a Putnam County family. During his visit, the 5-year-old great-grandson received a VTech kids camera as a Christmas present. After several days, the mother checked the camera to see what pictures her son had taken. The mother found several nude images of her son on the camera. The family contacted the Sheriff's Department, where detectives came from the crime unit, opened an investigation. During the interview, Matthew Hagee admitted to taking one of the photographs. Search warrants were obtained, and to have Matthew Hagee's cell phone forensically downloaded. The forensic download indicated that Mr. Hagee's phone had 772 images and 3 videos of child pornography. The children were all under the age of 10 years old. There were also 45 videos of a great-grandchild fully clothed, zooming in on his private, and 1 child pornography video of a 5-year-old. On May 17th, 2021, Matthew Hagee had a federal trial in Huntington Federal Court, where he was found guilty of possession of child pornography, production of child pornography. Matthew Hagee has been sentenced to 27 years in federal prison. Child pornography is something I never could do as a detective. I didn't have the stomach for it. But we have a great unit here that steps forward at this time to protect the children of Putnam County, and not only of Putnam County, but of the United States. This went federal. We put a child pornographer, a pedophile, away for 27 years, and these two individuals worked diligently to try to get this guy put away, and he's gone for a long, long time, and we wanted to recognize them for their efforts.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate that, Sheriff, and appreciate all our deputies and the work that they do to keep this community safe. This time I would like to go back up to, we have a couple agency board interviews that we do in executive session, so I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to go in executive session.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Would Nicholas King come with us? We'll go back here.
You're here all night. They didn't. Man, but they didn't want to say it. Traveling leader province. Well, they said about council. This system, county. They had to get passed over. Benjamin King. Yeah, Nicholas. No, I don't think. Yep, I think so. I don't see Cindy back there anymore. Nobody. And Ashley's not here. Copy to Michael. Resolution for the city of Putnam, county of Putnam. Oh, yeah.
Well, I currently know, I know it's different, but it's just for my notes.
My Kyle. Michael. There's
So I can take a picture.
well, we were just looking around. She just asked me, is there anybody here from Florida? And I said, well, I don't think so. The problem with it was written like that. They didn't fill it in, so I'm like, think that's how I read it.
Tell me.
I'll do it, I'll take it.
Don't you want to be in the front?
Well, no, I don't need to. Go under that.
Because my last sentence is, let's look into this further.
Man, that actually works. It's okay. It's fine. No, I'll take the picture. It's all right. I got a picture with me in it. I'll post both. Or wait, Ashley Davis? I know somebody here.
Up and down or sideways?
I know him. I know him. And his kid works. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, I reached out to the guy.
These are all Hurton Creekers.
And he sent me a
I
whole
don't know about
packet.
these people over there. These are all Hurton Creekers. Have you seen the signs that were posted? Ridiculous. They're that big. Announcing this. No, not yours. The initial ones that posted these planning commission. There's no way you can see unless you knew what they were. I would have drove by today seeing it. No way. And then there's not a lot of places you can get over. You have to get out. No way. I know. I do it. I represent Winfield. I do it all the time. But and you go out and post on stuff. There's no way anybody's ever going to read it.
Oh, no, that's fine. How old are you?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
All right, make a motion to come back into session.
Second, got a motion and a second to come back in regular session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, you have a couple of appointment
All
paperwork?
right. I would like to make a motion to appoint Alexandra Post to the Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau effective October 25th and a term to expire on June 30th, 2025.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Also, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Nicholas King to the Putnam County Dilapidated and Abandoned Enforcement Agency, effective October 25th, 2022, and a term to expire on May 10th, 2024.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, if you both would go with Mr. Wood here, he can get you sworn into these boards so you can attend the next meetings. All right, next on the agenda, we have a resolution to adopt the Region 3 mitigation plan.
Thank you, Commission President Skidmore. I'm Sam Richardson with the Regional Council. I have a 500-page document here. That's our Region 3 Hazard Mitigation Plan that encompasses Kanawha, Boone, and Clay in Putnam counties. And what we're asking you all to do is adopt this plan. It's been approved by FEMA for adoption. It makes the Putnam counties 40-plus projects in this plan that Putnam County developed. It makes them eligible for grants through the federal government to fund those projects. And we've had 8 steering committee meetings over the past year where Putnam County representatives have sat on those steering committee meetings and helped us develop the plan. And also we've had a couple of public involvement meetings here at Putnam County and in Kanawha County, as well as we've done surveys to collect community involvement as well in that. And this is an update of a previously adopted plan that was adopted in 2017. We're just redoing it to make sure it stays in compliance and it checks all those federal boxes to make sure we can get the most money we can leveraged into Putnam County. So,
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Do you have any questions for Mr. Ellis?
I do not.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion for the commission president to sign all documents to adopt the Region 3 mitigation plan.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
thank you.
Do you have that signature page, or? I think I have one. Yeah. Okay, all right. Good.
Yeah.
She has a resolution for you. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
No, we just adopted. All right. While she's doing that, Larry, you have some estates?
Yes, we have several estates that have been noticed tonight for administrative closure, specifically the estate of Ronald Jesse Bird, Benjamin, I think it's Fretwell Blackley Jr., Bobby Lee Bonnet Sr., Justin Lee Bradford, and John A. Grandbrausch. Are there any representatives of any of those estates here present this evening? Okay. Commissioners, I will indicate to you that these estates have been open for, and some of them as long as 10 years ago. I think that's the oldest one. No, I take that back. There's one from 2007. So these estates have been open for a long period of time. Some of them, nothing has been done on since the appointment. And we did hear, we have not only noticed this, we sent out notices to any representative heirs, beneficiaries, and/or creditors on these estates. We did receive one back, or some notification back, on the John A. Grandbrausch estate. The executrix that had been appointed in 2007 has since passed away. Her 2 daughters were appointed over her estate, and they agree that the estate should be administratively closed. So I'm going to make a motion for the county commission at this time for the county commission, I'll recommend that the county commission president sign off on the order that will administratively close those estates.
I was going to say, we let you read some resolutions, now you have to make motions.
All right. I'd like to make a motion for the commission president to sign off on the estate closures of aforementioned people as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Mr. Smith, if you want to go and come on up and talk about a rezoning application.
All right. So this is rezoning 22-02. The application was submitted by Mr. Smith, who is present here tonight. This is a rezoning request for roughly 130 acres at the intersection of Winfield Road and Hurricane Creek Road. It is currently zoned I-1, limited industrial, C2, which is high-density commercial, and RR, which is rural residential. The request is to go from RR, rural residential, to C2, high-density commercial. If you choose to take action tonight, facts that need to be determined. Will the proposed amendment protect and promote the public health, safety, convenience, morals, and general welfare? Is the amendment consistent in achieving the objectives of the comprehensive plan, the US 35 corridor plan, and the Tays Valley land use plan? If it is inconsistent with those plans, has there been any major changes in terms of economic, physical, or social natures that has substantially altered the basic characteristics of the area? If you'd like to see the plans, I've got a copy of them as well, just for the record. Again, reference documents, Tays Valley land use plan, US 35 corridor plan, and the Putnam County comprehensive plan. On the staff summary, it goes into state code authority. I'm going to skip over those sections. Those are identical as what was presented to the Planning Commission. Again, I do want to point out parcel, let me look at the parcel so I get the correct one, just to clarify before I go any farther into our staff summary. Parcel 162.51, which is a large tract of land. It stretches to the north and abuts the river. And I'm actually looking at this multicolored map in your packet if you want to take a look at it. 162.51 goes from the north and abuts the river and goes south all the way past US 35. And long story short, the portion that abuts the river is zoned I-1 industrial. None of our notices, as well as the applicant's application, as well as any of the letters that we sent out, identified the I-1 section. So we're not going to look at that unless we get other advice, because it was not advertised, it was not on the application. So what we're looking at strictly is just the yellow sections of this map, the RR sections. And if this is recommended for approval and then it goes through, the yellow sections of this map that are highlighted will then change to C2 or red, okay? So I wanted to make that point before we proceeded. None of our notifications included the I-1, therefore I don't feel like it's right to proceed with that rezoning on that side, okay? So that being said, I'm going to skip over the authority section and we will jump into Article 350 highlights the definitions for RR, rural residential. Article 650, which is on the staff packet as well, highlights the C2 high-density commercial district. So if you have any questions on those two zonings, don't hesitate to ask. The facts. Briefly summarizing those, not much has changed since the Planning Commission meeting last week. Again, Mr. Smith is here if you would like to ask him any questions. He submitted this request back in, I believe it was August. A copy of his application is in your packet as well. Again, it was only for the RR sections to be converted to C2. There was no mention of the industrial sliver at the north section of this. This is for parcels 50.8 and parcels 51, totaling roughly 130 acres, give or take. A deed is also in this packet. I'm not going to get into that. The surrounding zonings, C2, high-density commercial, RR, rural residential, and I1, limited industrial. If you're familiar with the intersection, there's an existing gas station, I believe, at the intersection of Winfield Road and Hurricane Creek Road. So there are some commercial establishments already at that intersection. The Putnam County Planning Commission held their public hearing on Tuesday, October 18, and recommended this to your body with an approval recommendation. There were comments, and this is the primary thing I want to focus your attention on. There were several comments received over the course of last week after the Planning Commission meeting. All of those comments are in your packet, but I will briefly touch note on each one of them because I told everyone that I would. All right. Starting with, and I don't know if y'all want me to read these entire email chains. I will gladly do it if you would like.
You can summarize them. We have them before us.
Okay, so summarized, and y'all can have them for the record. First email I got was on Friday, October 21st. A Mr. Roger Taylor had primary concerns about his property value, and specifically how abutting a commercial lot would impact the value of his residential property. In my response to him, I told him that was not something that I could answer for him and suggested maybe getting a property appraisal or talking to an appraiser. That might be more beneficial than talking to me. Again, that's Mr. Roger Taylor. His email is in the packet in attachment F. Lisa Murphy, the secretary for Tim here, sent in a letter. I have got copies of the letter. If you cannot find them in your packet relatively easily, I can give them to you. And I'm sure Tim would like to say something here in a few minutes. But Lisa sent over a letter. You have it for the record. Obviously, it's in opposition both to the rezoning, and then he's also requesting, and I'm sure he'll speak on his own behalf, to temporarily table this request to give him and his team a little bit additional time to prepare. Since you're here and speaking for yourself, I'm going to summarize that and move on to our third comment that I received via email from I'm going to miss Karen. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name because I will butcher it. But it's in the record. Miss Karen was here actually during the Planning Commission meeting and missed her opportunity to speak during the public comment period. She didn't necessarily come out in opposition of the rezoning, but you can tell there is a map that they submitted. The highlighted section on this map is the portion that this individual was suggesting that we allow to be rezoned. And then the sections that they drew in ink pen around, those are the areas of the rezoning request that abut the residential properties. He is asking that those remain residential and not to be rezoned. Okay, so they have no problem with the highlighted areas north of Highway 35, but they took issue with the RR sections south of 35. Okay, those were the three emails/letters that I received. And I believe I've hit on all of my notes. Mark Reed at the Planning Commission meeting vocalized his opposition to the rezoning. Again, he has a family residence. I believe the word you used was wedged right in between these two parcels in question. He is also here if he would like to say anything on his own behalf. There was brief discussion, and I included that discussion from our draft minutes during the Planning Commission meeting. Will the proposed amendment protect and promote the public health, safety, convenience, morals, and general welfare of the public? Jacob Pack believed the answer was yes, as the proposed expansion helps bring public utilities into the area. There were no additional opinions offered. Is the amendment consistent in achieving the objectives of the Comprehensive Plan, US 35 Corridor Plan, and the Taze Valley Plan? Mr. Ron Foster believed the answer was yes. It allows for the distribution of business and residential opportunities in the area. Again, those were copied from our draft minutes. And then the final portion that I added, a motion was made by Mr. Jacob Pack and seconded by Mr. Brian Ellis to approve rezoning 2022-02 application for this rezoning. And the motion carried unanimously.
All right.
If you choose to choose to take action, there's 4 actions available to you. Those are listed under options. And so with that, I'll turn it over to you if you have any questions for us.
Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate it very much. Mr. LaFawn, we are in receipt of your letter, and can appreciate your ask for extension. I believe our plan this evening would be, it's been advertised, we'll open up for public hearing, and then we'll table that until our next scheduled meeting, November 15th. So we'll have an opportunity for public hearing tonight, and then we'll continue and have a public hearing again in November 15th, should additional information need to come before us. And at that time, it's possible we would be ready to make a decision.
So I don't know if that means you're telling me I'll get an opportunity to speak next time, but we'll cut.
Yes, you will.
Then I'll cut down, then I'll just submit my letter tonight if I know you're going to table it.
Yes.
And then I will speak at the next meeting when it becomes necessary.
Anytime I can cut you short of speaking, I'm happy to do so.
I realized what you were doing, very politely, I understood what you were doing.
All right, so now that we've got him silenced, is there anyone else? We'll open a public hearing, and then if anybody would like to make comment this evening, there will be an opportunity at our November 15th meeting to make comment as well. But with that being said, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
At this time, is there anybody that would like to make a comment regarding the rezoning application? Yes, yes, sir, come on up. You would just come up to the microphone, state your name and address.
Thank you, sir. My name is Leland Brown. I live at 4 Terra Way, which is right across the street, well, more or less right across the street from this proposed rezoning. And I would just like to remind everyone that, you have rezoned a lot of property in Putnam County, and a lot of it is turned into wasteland, and it's destroyed a lot of the residents around it. You've got property over next to the Toyota plant without residences that's available for commercial expansion. There's property that doesn't involve residences that they can go to. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to just destroy this area just for the sake of destroying it. Makes no sense. If they want to develop it, let them put residences in there. That's fine. I'm not opposed to them making money. They could put some nice residences in there, and that would be fine. But I'm opposed to a shopping mall right across the street from my house, which is going to devalue my property. He wouldn't like it if his property was devalued. So I just want us to be considered. And as far as notifications go, We received no notifications of this. I know you may have put it in the paper, but who gets the paper now? Okay, so a letter would have been nice, other than the little 3x5 card they put at the end of the property saying, hey, we're going to rezone this.
All right.
That's a little.
Just for clarification, Mr. Smith, were notifications sent out within a certain distance of?
Yes, sir. So we.
I got no notification at 4 Terra Way.
Okay, I can confirm for sure. I'm not going to sit here and tell you yes or no because
I know you didn't because I didn't get anything.
Yeah, well, typically the notifications are within a certain distance.
Yeah, so we partner with Jenny downstairs in our GIS division, and she prints us off a list of every property owner within 250 feet of the boundaries of the parcel, not just a specific house, for example, but within 250
Are you within 250 feet of the boundary?
of the boundary.
No.
Okay.
So if you're not within 250 feet, our state codes, our state law doesn't actually require the applicant to do that.
Okay, well, I feel really slighted.
Not
And
justifying
I'm
it.
sure a lot of my neighbors in here do too. And
that's
that's
the
why
reason-
there's not more neighbors here because they're unaware of it.
But that's the reason, sir, why you would not have received a letter, is because the application only requires him to send it to individuals within 250 feet of the exterior property.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Mr. Brown?
Thank you for having another meeting next month. And please notify us when these meetings will be so we can notify our neighbors and voice our opinion and opposition.
What time is the 15th meeting set for, Chair?
Is that on a weekday?
It is,
Yes,
yeah, it's on a
It's our
weekday.
regular scheduled meeting.
You know, people work. I work. I'll be at work.
I will suggest, if you'll hang around just for a few minutes, I'll give you my contact information, and you can stop by at any time in the afternoon, share your thoughts, comments, and I'll gladly present it to the
Well, all the comments will be made part of the record. Even tonight's comments are made part of the record before an actual decision made. But we'll look at that because we'll have one meeting in November, so we'll look at time frame to see if that's a possibility of changing the time of that meeting.
That would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, sorry. My name is Christy Schwartz. I live at 9558 Hurricane Creek Road, which is about a mile from the intersection of 35 and Hurricane Creek Road that is in question. And I would like to make a few points about the safety of that intersection. This stretch of the Highway 35 was just finished last year as part of Governor Justice's Roads to Prosperity project. It was finished last fall. And part of the purpose of that was to increase the accessibility between Ohio and Teays Valley, and to make that a smooth, easily traveled section of highway. This is already a dangerous intersection. We've had one fatality there already. And there have been many accidents at that intersection because of the speed at which people travel that route in order to, go quickly between Ohio and Teays Valley. The West Virginia Department of Transportation 2022 through 2026 Strategic Highway Safety Plan says that intersections and pedestrians are two areas where the state has observed an increasing trend in fatalities and serious injuries. Intersection-related fatalities and serious injuries account for 14% of all fatalities in the state and 20% of all serious injuries. This project would inevitably necessitate a traffic light at that intersection if there is a truck stop, a shopping mall, or some other commercial property of that nature built there or development built there. The Federal Highway Administration says that traffic signals may reduce crash severity, but they will increase crash frequency. Traffic signals take years to approve on federal highways, so we will suffer more fatalities while we wait. It will tax county resources, so the fine officers that we saw earlier will be called out to that intersection to deal with traffic crashes. We will have other first responders, paramedics, and firefighters responding to those crashes. We will inevitably lose more people at that intersection. A traffic signal would require maintenance and operating costs. Yeah, so that is pretty much all I had to say about that, just that it is going to increase the number of fatalities on an already dangerous stretch of road. And that's in addition to the inevitable property value damage that will happen to all of us who live within a mile or so of that intersection, and the traffic that we will have to deal with trying to get out of that intersection if there is commercial property there. Thank you. I also wanted to express appreciation for allowing us to speak and for tabling this until the next meeting so that more of us can speak.
All right, thank you. Anyone else make comment?
My name is Dave Lanier. I live at 80 Manor Way. I am Leland Brown's backyard neighbor. And the sign that he was talking about, and I understand the 250 feet, but if I can approach each one of you and show you the sign that stood this tall and about this big, that's how we found out about it, through social media. But this is the size of the sign.
There are also photos of the sign in your staff packet.
Yep. Okay.
How are we supposed to have seen the sign to know anything that's going on this tall? I just wanted to let you all know what the size of the sign was. I didn't even see it tonight until I left to go to the meeting tonight.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anybody else like to make comment? Yes, ma'am.
I am Christina McComas, and I live on 95 Manor Way. And just so I wanted to make sure I heard you right, the notification of who you would send a letter, is it within 250 feet of the property line?
Yes, ma'am, the exterior property line.
The exterior, the perimeter,
Yeah, the
the
perimeter.
outside.
Yes,
So I do live right across the street from this property, and I guess I would gander, I'm less than a football field, at 300 feet, maybe in the border, but I was not notified and I did not see any signs. So, I mean, it was just brought to my attention through social media to come here to voice my opinion. I did not know anything about it last week. One thing I do want to touch on, as a citizen, I'm concerned with my property value. I guess it'd be more west of the property, or the other side where Tasty Blend in. This is right near that. That is commercial property already. There's other commercial properties. I just didn't know with your application, was there an intent of what this plans to be used for, other than just calling it the commercial? You want the commercial designation and the zoning?
Yes.
What is the intent of the use of the property?
Just one clarification. Jonathan is planning staff. The applicant, he's just reading what the applicant had put in.
But I can answer your question.
Oh, okay, thank you.
With rezoning applications, there is not a requirement or a commitment by the applicant to submit any sort of site plan review or any sort of construction, civil, no plans. When you look at a rezoning request, you're strictly looking at the zoning layer on a map. And so what that means is, if approved, the applicant would be allowed and permitted to do pretty much anything permitted in C2 zoning.
In that category.
He could do anything from, a restaurant to, you said a strip mall to, whatever's allowed and permitted. He would still, after the rezoning is approved in this case, if it is approved, any development or construction that he would want to do in the future, he would still have to go through our permit process to get a permit and approval to build any sort of development or project. But that is at a later phase in the process. Right now, all we're focusing on is the rezoning, and there is no obligation on behalf of Mr. Smith to submit any sort of proposal.
Okay, just so I
But he
understand.
will, once he decides to build something, he will have to submit it to our office, and myself and Melissa and David, our team, will review whatever plans he submits to make sure they align with our codes.
Do you have a list or a number of who was eligible to receive this notification?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm just really concerned, because I am literally right across the street in the cul-de-sac, and I did not know anything, did not see a sign. I drive that home every day. The perimeter, down Hurricane Creek Road, did not see anything. I'm not really prepared to make comments today because I just found out today
Right. Well, the
to
good
be
thing
here.
is-
And I appreciate the opportunity to have a more prepared presentation and voice my opinion at the next meeting.
So I didn't catch your name, but I'm here, you're here. You're more than welcome to look at the list to see if your name is on the list. This is our list that we got from our mapping division of everyone that's within 250 feet. Take a look at it and I'll hit you back up. Okay? But that's who was sent certified. And if you're not on that list, you said you might be a football field away. You very easily could. You very easily could be. You very easily could have been, close to it, but according to our mapping division, you wasn't within.
No matter what happens with this zoning, I do want to comment and let the commission know, if you're not familiar with the exit or the turnoff for Hurricane Creek Road heading toward 817 off of 35 there is no turn lane. When you go down 35 to the Tasty Blend exit, there's actually an exit. So the traffic on 35 has increased crazy with tractor trailers. There's no safe way to get off that road in time a lot of times. I have to actually go into the burn, into the gravel to turn off. So if this is something that would get approved, please consider what that would entail with that property of updating the road. It's a real issue. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to make, yes, sir.
My name is Emma McCoy. I live on 9618 Hurricane Creek Road. We have a tremendous time trying to get across that little intersection there going over to 817. Sometimes you wait 5 minutes, tractor trailer after tractor trailer. And right now it's not safe because there's thousands of vehicles now since that road's been improved. And I heard the gentleman talk about 200 some feet for the property people. How about, like on Terra Way, these people that live on that street, they still got to come out there and access that same thing. Their end of their drive meets the old Hurricane Creek Road.
Right.
That looked like they should at least had the courtesy to give these people ample notice. There's no notices. I've got a picture of the little old sign here. I took it just a few moments ago, and I'll show it to you. That's about 10 foot away.
Right.
And they had it hid down in the ditch in the grass. And that's the only way we found it. We stumbled up on it. And we thought it was a politics sign. I thought there's something different about that thing. But you can be considerate to people. And like I say, if they don't put a stoplight there, there's going to be so many fatalities. As soon as that route opened up, this lady got killed within a week. And I come in there, if I'm coming from Charleston and try to get across to Hurricane Creek, in the evening sun, you absolutely can't see a car or truck coming at you till you're out there inside of it with the glare of that. And if you don't have an intersection, there's going to be so many fatalities.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
I'll
Mr.
show a picture.
McCoy.
This is about 10 foot away from that sign. That's how big it was.
Right. Right.
Your last name's McCoy? Emma McCoy.
All right. Anyone else like to make public comment? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name's Adam Jackson. I live at 1 Tearaway. So to clarify, I did receive your letter for the 250 feet. I did get that in the mail. Due to my occupation, I was not able to join the meeting for the zoning commission to understand more about this. For what everyone has spoke to before, among the intersection, the infrastructure of the road for that area is not set up for a commercial business to be put in of that scale. You can reference the business park as much as these other ladies and gentlemen have spoke about. That infrastructure was built for high volume with the turnoff lane, with the easement to it. And yes, the gas station at the end is a small gas station, not a high volume truck stop. So all this should be taken into consideration as turning that from an RR to a C2, because there is a lot of residential areas there. And as you've heard, it is very congested. There's a lot of trucks that do utilize that gas station at the end of the road. So I'm not one to tell someone what they can do with their land. It's just the infrastructure around that for a 130-acre facility is not there.
Right. I can speak a little bit to the infrastructure. I talked to the water company. There is a water hookup on Hurricane Creek Road. So all of the cost associated with connecting would be on Mr. Smith if he was to develop the land. Spoke with the sewer company as well. The short version of our conversation was that the sewer company would require Mr. Smith to submit some sort of study looking at the sewer and looking at his development and the capacity that it adds to the sewer facility in Eleanor. Summarizing right now, that sewer facility in Eleanor is close to capacity, and the study that Mr. Smith would have to submit to them would have to show that whatever he develops doesn't supersede the capacity of the sewer system and the sewer station in Eleanor. Obviously, the study hasn't been submitted. We don't know anything about that or the results, so I can't speak to that. But if the study does show that it would be below the capacity of the current system, then he would be allowed to connect. So sewer and water would both be no issues as long as he submits a study showing that his development is under that capacity. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. So there's also sections of that property that is floodland. So with it being reconstructed for a commercial property, there would also obviously have to be a water runoff.
We would do all of that conversation at the construction permit side of things. We don't look at elevations or water runoff and any of that right now for rezoning.
If it were approved, it would be the time he would be submitting a plan of action that would be looked at.
Okay, yeah, because the topography of the land, obviously.
No matter
would
what
have
he
to be-
develops, he will always have to adhere to whatever codes are applicable, right? Stormwater
course.
runoff is nothing different. He would have to adhere to that.
Okay, that's everything. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Anyone else like to make comment?
Commissioner, I represent Mark Reed. I want to acknowledge he's here. He just waited for here, but I'll be speaking for him. But I want the record to show he was here. And one of the things, this map that was presented shows across from this development dozens of homes. And I don't believe they were notified. They may not be exactly 250 feet, but there's entire housing development of at least 30 or 40 homes directly across the street from us. And I think it is very important that they be notified and be invited to the next meeting.
All right, thank you, Mr. LaFawn. All right, any other comments during this time? Yes, sir.
Jeff McComas, 95 Manor Way. The other thing that I wanted to point out is if that becomes commercial, then everything will be landlocked all the way around by commercial, all that residential area there. I mean, because we have Tasty Blend and everything on the one side, the back side is the industrial. It's already zoned as industrial, and then you'll have on the other side of us with no other. And then they're also building residential on the other side of Tasty Blend.
Right.
So the other thing is, why is there such a hidden agenda on what this property is going to be? Why are they not coming forward with what the property is going to be used for?
It's just the law requires for zoning, just a zone change. Now, if a plan happens, then that comes after the fact, but just the law requirements are, they don't have to have a plan, they just want.
Well, I'm not asking for a plan, I'm just saying.
If it would make it easier, or if you would like the information, I can give you a list of permitted uses for C2 properties.
I've read the list, and the list is extensive.
It's
It can be
extensive.
anything from agricultural down to
Yes, sir.
strip clubs, adult entertainment. It can be any of those things. And if it's zoned that way, I know it has to be approved, but it can be any one of those things. Agricultural, does that mean it could be a grow area for marijuana or, so like I said, when you zone it this way, you're zoning a large list of properties that are potential
Yeah.
businesses.
That is correct.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Anyone else like to make public comment? All right. Make a motion to table till.
I'd like to make a motion to table until our next meeting on November 15th.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, and we will look, since we only have one meeting in November, we will set that meeting at 5:30 PM on Tuesday, November 15th. Thank you. All right.
I will say just briefly, I know we have Planning Commission, I believe, on the 15th as well.
Is that
At
right?
7? Because I've got things on the agenda, so we may have a time crunch. I'm going to have a significant amount of stuff for the 15th, from day of cases to text amendments, now this rezoning.
We'll just have to be efficient.
That's not going to hurt my feelings, right? Okay.
Okay.
All right. We also have budget revisions or,
No budget revisions. I do have some orders for you today.
okay.
The first order I have is to issue a check in the amount of $200,000 made payable to the Putnam County Building Commission, Series B Bond Revenue Account towards Waterworks revenue bond payments.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the order as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Second order is to issue a check from the Spay and Neuter Fund in the amount of $188 payable to Help for Animals for services provided.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the order as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Check for $69,020.52 payable to West Banco Bank trustee for September 2022 TIF revenue.
Make a motion to accept the order as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Issue a check from the TIF fund in the amount of $335,268.07 payable to the Devonshire TIF account to reflect increments to be collected in fiscal year 2023.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the order as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then a check from the TIF fund Devonshire account in the amount of $335,268.07 payable to United Bank trustee to transfer Devonshire tax increment revenues to the trustee.
Make a motion to accept the order as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And a check from the Water and Sewer Fund in the amount of $600 payable to Terradon Corporation for engineering services for the Deerfield Estates Water Project.
Make a motion to accept the order as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And the next three I will read together. They are all from the 9/11/07 fund. First one is to Premier Construction Group LLC in the amount of $15,799.50 for 911 tower antenna work. The second one is Electronic Services for $15,299.98 for 9/11 microwave work. And the last one is to Electronic Specialty Company in the amount of $37,964.31 for 911 tower cameras.
Make a motion to accept the orders as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And the last order I have for you is a check from the Putnam County American Rescue Plan Fund in the amount of $1 million even, payable to Alpha Technologies for materials on the Putnam County fiber optic broadband project.
Make a motion to accept the order as presented.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And that's all the orders I have for you today. I did confirm the Veterans Day ceremony is scheduled for Sunday, November the 6th. I believe that's at 2 o'clock.
It's usually 2.
In the afternoon. So we do need to get, I was told that we haven't got confirmation about the stage yet, so we'll call Parks and make sure that we get the stage over for that event.
All right, Mr. Ellis, would you have a problem at our next, on the 15th, of actually moving that meeting up to 5 PM? That way we could even get through some of our...
I do not, sir.
Okay. So if we could, yeah, we'll put that on our Facebook and everything. We'll move the meeting up to 5, that way we can get through our normal procedural items, and the folks that's still here at 5:30, they can still come and be part of a public hearing. That way we're out of here before planning needs a room. All right, is there anything else that needs to come before the commission?
Make a motion that we adjourn to our next scheduled meeting.
Second, got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.